All right, let's now bring you that conversation on the removal by of the governor of Ebonyi State, Dave Umahi, from office by a high court in Abuja. He's saying he's not going to leave office. The PDP has gone ahead to nominate candidates, but what does this mean for our polity? We're joined now by a constitutional lawyer and human rights activist, Wale Ogwade. Good to have you join us.
Thank you for inviting me. So
there are two key issues here, and I want to start with the first one, which is the fact that, I mean, one of the lawyers in court also said, one of his lawyers also said the same thing. I mean, the fact that there is no provision in the Constitution for defection, especially for executive office holders. And so one wonders where the court got, or this particular court got its the power, or derived its power from, in terms of making this kind of judgment.
Yeah, the court, I want to believe, derived its power from Section 1, the old Section 141 of the Electoral Act. And of course, that court, the courts and the judicial process interpreted that, what the court did now, in the Amechi's case. Amechi never contested the governorship progress, wasn't involved in the process of the elections for governor. It was eventually, the name just ran away now, that became the governor. Right, Celestian Omeha became the governor of Rivers State. But along the line, Amechi went to court saying all sorts of things about discrepancies and so on. And the court awarded him the governorship ticket just like that without contesting. And that's what wants to be playing out in Ebonyi. But again, the law is moving. It grows on a daily basis. The law, the position of the law now is now Section 141 as amended of the Electoral Act, which forbids any court whatsoever from declaring anybody who has not taken part in the electoral process in any stage to be nominated, as PDP is doing now, or to be sworn into the office of the governor. Maybe I'll stretch this argument a little bit further. The Constitution again is clear in Section 68, 1G, and Section 109, 1G of the Constitution. Those portions of the Constitution forbids cross-carpeting. If any member, and that's for the members of the House of Representatives, or members of the Senate, or members of the House of Assembly.
Absolutely.
The Constitution forbids
for the legislature.
For the legislature. But unfortunately, the framers of the Constitution, this 1999 Constitution that we are working on, did not make provisions for cross-carpeting if it affects the executive. And there's no court that has power. I repeat with all sense of authority. No court has the power to touch a governor who cross-carpeted. No doubt it is prostitution, political prostitution. It is immoral. And
that's based on moral grounds, not necessarily legal grounds.
It's not legal.
But let's also look at the other issue, because we know that sometime last year, I think it was August, September last year, where the Chief Justice of Nigeria was he obviously was very furious about the issues around where we have this multiplicity of court judgments on the same issue from courts of coordinate jurisdiction, and he did somewhat about 6 judges from across different states, and we're seeing the same thing in this particular situation, where a court in Abakaliki had already said you do not have the right to remove this man from office. In fact, I think it was a plaintiff who was awarded, he had to pay the governor a particular amount of money. So what does this mean for the judiciary after the Chief Justice has gone against situations like this?
You see, in law we have the principle called stare decisis. We say courts of this issue is a court of coordinate jurisdiction. Once a court of a coordinate of the same level has given a ruling or made a judgment or made a statement, definitely it must be followed. That's what now flow with the stare decisis issue. And we are surprised the way things are happening now. And the ball now is in the court of the CJN. And I hope that's where the governor Umahi is going. That the CJN, that's through the NJC, the CJN, the Chief Justice of Nigeria is the chairman of that body. They should bring their hammer down. The law is not respecter of person. This judgment, this pronouncement is embarrassing to the legal profession.
But
embarrassing.
Because of the time
and this should be the last of it that we should hear. We know what we are doing, and we should not be made to be looked at, to be seen as if we are fools.
Does this mean then that because the governor has said he's not leaving office?
No.
Does this mean then that he's within his rights to say, I am still the governor of this state.
Yes, I can excuse the governor for that. All he needs to say is that I have a right of appeal. That's all. Saying that he is not leaving office, that's taking it to the gutter. He shouldn't have said that. As that I have a right of appeal, and I'm going to appeal, and that's all. And of course, I can assure you that this judgment cannot stand the test of time when it comes to the appeal court.
All right. Thank you so much for talking to us. We'll continue to monitor these developments and how it plays out. Thank you for talking to us, constitutional lawyer and human rights activist Wale Ogunwade.
To God be the glory.